Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. In today's video, we're going to be doing another palette bingo. One of you guys asked me if I had ever done one with this palette from Persona. This is the Identity 1 palette, and I have not. So I thought, what better time to do it than today, because I need to get ready anyways, so we might as well go ahead and do a palette bingo with this palette. And I really love this palette a lot. So if you're not familiar with it, this is a neutral palette. However, I have to be very light-handed with these matte shades because they're extremely pigmented. They're pretty deep shades, really. These even are really pigmented. So I typically always reach into these two lightest shades, both the matte and the shimmer. You can see that I have pan in both of them, and I love all the shimmer shades in this palette. So I'm definitely excited to do a palette bingo with this one. This makes me pumped to know that some of you guys are excited for me to have neutral palettes in this series, because typically I just do this with my more colorful palettes because they're a little bit more nerve-wracking, for lack of a better term, but I'm excited to use it with a neutral palette. If you saw my latest palette bingo, I did the Nomad Iceland palette, and that one intimidated me a little bit, so this makes me feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more excited to just dip into this and more confident that I can create this look in the morning and then wear it for the whole day. So let's go ahead and jump into it and pick some random shades. If you're not familiar with my palette bingos, I typically just pick 5 shades from any specified palette or whatever the theme might be for the video, but this theme is going to be just dipping into this palette. I am going to pick 5 shades at random. I'm going to use a random number generator, and then I'm just challenged to use those 5 shades together to make one eye look. I can dip into any other shades that I need, but I have to use those 5 at least. So let's go ahead and pick the shades. So I've got 1 through 12, and I have no re-rolls on, so let's go ahead and pick the first one. It's going to be number 7. And the way that I go about them is this would be 1 through 4, and then 5 through 8. Then 9 through 12. So number 7 is going to be this one here called Bombshell. I love this shade. It's one of my absolute favorites. It is like a nice muted olive green sort of shimmer shade, and it is one of my favorite shades probably in my whole collection. I just love it so much. So we're going to go ahead and swatch that one. Okay, let's go ahead and pick the second shade. It's going to be number 6. Okay, so right next to that one, this is going to be the shade called Maverick. This is a nice, more cool tone kind of matte shade brown. I use that one a lot with the shade Bombshell, so this is kind of like a go-to duo for me in this palette anyways, but if we get some warm tones, it could kind of throw this off. So let's pick a few more. Number 2. Oh, number 2 is my favorite. Number 2 is this shade called Sassy. I have pan in this shade. This is my all-time favorite inner corner shade, so that's absolutely how I'm going to use it today. It's just the best inner corner highlight ever, and I love it. So, but this shade here is Sassy. So 2 more shades. I would like the number 1, please. 9. Okay, I tried. Ooh, okay. That was what I was worried about. Number 9 is the shade Audacious, which kind of clashes a little bit with the more cool tone shades, but it's okay. We'll make it work. It's more of like a burnt orange kind of matte shade. It's really pretty. It just is gonna compete, I think, a little bit with the more cool tone shades. But they're all neutral, so I feel like they'll all go together okay. And then last up, we have number 3. I like this one too. Okay, so this one is the shade called Gold Digger. My favorite 2 shimmers are actually this one here and then Bombshell. This one's called Seductive, but we did get this one, so we'll use that one today. I still really like it. I like all the shades in this palette, so I'm excited for that too. And that can kind of help go with that more warm tone matte shade as well. So I can kind of already see where I want to go with this look. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. It was a coffee and film kind of morning. I don't do well filming in the morning. I feel like I always sound so dead. So hopefully this can help me wake up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and prime the eyelids with the Ulta Beauty Matte Eye Primer. Okay, let's go to do in a little bit so that we can kind of focus on the shades and just do the eye look a little bit closer up. I didn't get this shade in the rotation, but I let myself use more shades than what I choose. I just have to use the 5. But I am going to be dipping into this shade called Humble a lot. This is a like skin tone color for me, and I kind of have to use it with the other mattes because the mattes in this palette, like I mentioned, are pretty pigmented, and honestly they're just a little bit deep for my skin tone and my preferences, so I always kind of mute the matte shades with this one. So I'm putting Humble in the crease and all the way up to the brow. I think a palette bingo with a more neutral palette can kind of help you get out of like a day-to-day makeup funk. I feel like sometimes on the weekdays, I just don't really feel that motivated or inspired to do makeup because I don't really wear a lot of colorful makeup during the week, like to work or anything. So sometimes I get in a rut with it, but maybe doing a palette bingo for a neutral palette would kind of help me push through that and give me something new to try out. So that would be exciting, I think. When I'm filming this is on a weekend, so that's why I'm saying like it would be exciting. So I might try that this upcoming week. I'll definitely let you know if I do. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm probably gonna do like the more warm tone shades on the inner part of the eye and then the more cool tone ones on the outer part, or maybe the opposite. I don't know. What's throwing me off is that the green sparkly shade is a little bit deeper, I feel like, than the gold one. But actually, I think I want to do the more cool tone ones on the inside. So what I'm going to do is just barely dip into the shade Maverick and even pick up a little bit more of Humble. And then I'm going to just blend this into the inner part of the crease. I'm using the same brush that I used Humble on because it can also help to mute out the color. Okay, then I'm just going to pick up a tiny bit of Maverick and tap my brush off, but I'm not picking up any more of the shade Humble. I want to do pretty light layers of this and then see how I like it before I build it up too much. So I'm about ready to kind of just leave this here. I want it to be pretty light and neutral today. Sometimes the more colorful palettes are a lot of fun to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone. But as far as the neutral palettes go, I feel like it'd be fun to just see like how I might do this on a weekday. And I'm going to use a different brush for this next one, but I'm also going to go into Humble and then pick up a tiny little bit of Audacious. I'm going to put this on the outer part of the crease. See how light that color is compared to what it is in the pan? That's why I mix it with Humble so much, because I just want to start out with a really light washing, but I feel like that makes this palette so versatile. I'm picking up just Audacious now. But I feel like that makes the palette so versatile because I can make a really deep and sultry look with this palette, but you can also make it look like there's just a little hint of color in your crease if you just use a really light hand, and it just blends out so nicely. So I actually really don't mind that in the palette. However, I'm gonna run out of the shade Humble before I probably even ever hit pan on another shade. So I don't know, I'm going over a little bit with Humble right now, but I feel like that just blended so nicely. I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of Audacious, and I'm tapping my brush off between each one of these. More than likely I'm editing that out because that noise is a little bit loud when I watch it back, but I am just going to kind of deepen up that a little bit. I'm also gonna put Audacious on the outer corner of the lid because I think this can help. Like I was mentioning that this shade, the green one, is a little bit deeper than the gold, but if I put the gold on top of this burnt orange kind of shade, that might help with that. And I kind of want it to have a nice gradient, so that's why I'm adding a little bit more of this. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with that. So especially once we get the shimmer shades on, I think it'll be really nice. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more of Maverick on that original brush and add that into the crease. I actually really like how these two shades go together. I think the key to this palette is to just blend your heart out, because I could see how if you didn't blend it well enough, then it might be really intimidating, but I just really feel like these shadows are some of the most blendable ones in my entire collection. I'm gonna go ahead and put some NYX glitter glue all over the lid. Okay, I got a little bit ahead on this eye, so I'm just gonna go ahead and show you what I did. Really simple. I just took Bombshell on the inner part of the lid and then Gold Digger on the outer part. If I were creating this look not with a palette bingo, I'd probably pick a deeper copper kind of shade like Goddess. I'd probably put that one on the outer corner because I don't know, I like the inner part to be the lighter one and then the deeper shade to be on the outer part, but I really like these two shades together and I don't use them together very often. So it's like a nice slight shift in it, and I think it's really pretty. I'm just gonna use one of the brushes I was using earlier to blend over top of the shimmer shades. And I'm gonna add a brown liner, so I feel like that can help kind of bring some depth and dimension out to the outer edge, because I'll like kind of flake it out a little bit for a small wing. But I'm actually really happy with this. So I'm gonna take a slight little bit more of Maverick. I think I have the wrong brush. So I'm gonna switch brushes and take a little bit more of Maverick and put that back on the inner part right here. I feel like it kind of blended away. then I'm going to go back in with Humble very lightly just to make sure that we're completely blended in the crease. And then the same thing with the shade Audacious. I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of that on the outer corner. But I really don't want to cover up the shimmer shade, so I'm adding like the smallest amount. I'm going to go ahead and apply this liner and then we will be back. I'm going to do the face makeup on camera today, so if you're not interested in that, I'll leave a timestamp here to when we're going to actually finish the completed eye look if you just don't want to see the face makeup, but I'll be right back. Okay, I got the brown liner on. I'm going to go ahead and do the face makeup. I think I'm just going to use some like Project Pan items because I want to use them. So this is the e.l.f. Cooling Mint Melt Primer, and I really like this primer a lot. I'm excited that I'm using it so much, and actually the pump is working a little bit better now. It's not great, but I think some of the air might have come out of the packaging, so it's finally working better, so I'm happy about that. I just realized I don't have any SPF on. Oh no. I definitely need it too because it's the morning, like it's the beginning of the day. Oh, okay. I guess I'm gonna do my brows and kind of let this sit for a minute and put some SPF on top of it. Hopefully that doesn't mess with my foundation or anything, but I gotta have SPF on. For brows, I want to use this pencil from e.l.f. This is the Precise Brow Pencil. Okay, that primer is pretty much set, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on some SPF. This is the Beach Shield from Crave. I feel like it's going on fine over the primer, so hopefully it can still like help my skin. I don't know. Maybe I'll use a foundation that has some SPF in it too, just for a little bit extra. I believe this is the only base product that I have in my collection that has SPF in it. It has SPF 35. This is from Thrive. I'm not really wanting to support Thrive Cosmetics right now. If you want to know more about that, I mentioned it in a video about like what I think about different brands. I'll have it linked in the eye down below, but I don't really want to feature it on my channel a ton. However, I need SPF because of a little mishap. So I'm going to go ahead and use this product today, but I guess moving forward, I'll just be mentioning that. I'm not really planning to purchase from them right now. Don't you love when you put your foundation on and you realize you didn't wet your sponge? That was me today. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and blend this in with my sponge. I'm going to use the Flower Beauty Concealer. I'm trying to use this one up. If any of you have tried this, do you feel like you run out of it really quickly? I already had to take the stopper out, and I did not know I was anywhere near needing to do that. But I dropped the stopper in the tube, so that was really unfortunate. I really love this concealer, but I just feel like it doesn't have very much product in it. This is already my second one to go through as well. I do kind of want a more matte look, so I'm going to use this powder from Covergirl pretty much all over the face. I'm going to be using powdered cheek products as well today. So this is the Covergirl Clean Fresh powder. I really, really like it. And then for all of my cheek products, I'm going to use this face palette. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills face palette in Italian Summer. I've been loving this bronzer shade so much. It is a little bit deep and it's pretty pigmented, so I gotta be a little bit more careful with it, but I love the way it's been looking lately. I have been loving this brush so much for highlight. This is the Spectrum B08 and it's from their Zodiac collection. I have been just really, really loving this one. I like the shape of the barrel. It's a little bit thicker than some of my other ones, and the brush is just so perfect for highlight for me. I don't even know the last time I used my Real Techniques brush for highlight, even though I love those as well. I'm kind of loving how this base makeup is turning out. This face palette, while it is so insanely overpriced, I love it. This is like a guilty pleasure of mine in my collection because it's just so stupidly expensive. It's like $58 full price, and I paid full price for it. Honestly, it's so good. Like, I really, really love it, but I do wish it was more like $38. I mean, 58 is just a lot. Like, I don't know. But if you can find it on sale, pick it up. Seriously, like, I really, really love this. I'm actually going to go ahead and apply my setting spray now before we finish up with the eyes, because for the eyes, it's mostly just mascara. So sometimes setting spray is just easier to put on before that. But this is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Setting Mist. I do have the Supergoop one with the SPF in it, the setting spray, but it's gonna make your makeup like so extremely dewy, which is honestly really pretty for certain looks, but I want a little bit more of like a matte kind of satin look, so that's why I'm using the Colourpop one. All right, let's go ahead and finish up the eye makeup. So I'm gonna take the brush that I had Maverick on, and I'm gonna pick up mostly Humble again and like a tiny bit of Maverick, tap the brush off, and then pinch the brush and run it under the lower lash line. And then even though I used brown liner, I do think I want to go for some black mascara, just because I feel like this look is a little bit grungy, so I think the black mascara will complement it nicely. This is the one from Milk. It's the Rise mascara. I should have done this before mascara, but I'm gonna put this NYX Gilded Taupe eyeliner in the waterline. I feel like that just adds like a tiny little bit of something to the look. I really love this eyeliner. Okay, last before lips is gonna be to use this shade Sassy, and then we will have used all of them. And like I mentioned, this is gonna be my inner corner highlight. I love this shade for the inner corner so much. Like, look at that. It is so pretty to me. I am obsessed. Also gonna bring it up into that green shade just a little bit to kind of blend them together. I love it so much. I think my brush had a little bit of a blue shift to it. I really need to wash my brushes today, so it might be a little bit like more blue than it's supposed to be, but it gets the point across, right? Like, how cute is that? I love it so much. Okay, for lips, I feel like we're gonna end up, no, let's use a Milani one. I'm purposefully not using my Fenty one. I am obsessed with that lipstick. I've been using it non-stop, but I'm gonna use this combo today. So I'm gonna put on the Nude 1 lip liner from KKW Beauty and then Milani lipstick in the shade Tease. I have been really loving that Fenty lipstick in the shade Mother Lova. I got it in PR, but it is definitely a new favorite for sure. I've been wearing it all the time. I feel like this goes perfectly with the crease shade called Audacious that's on the outer edge of the crease. I'm so happy with how this turned out. So this is the final palette bingo look and like the face makeup all completed around it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you want to see more palette bingos with neutral palettes? Because this honestly didn't even feel like a palette bingo. It just felt like a get ready with me, which was honestly kind of fun because these shades are so neutral, but they went so well together. But honestly, still, I probably have never created a look just with these because in the beginning, you'll remember I mentioned I typically would use these two together or maybe something like this, but I don't usually mix them in one look. So this is how the look turned out. I am very happy with it. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did like today's video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. I have really been enjoying palette bingo videos and I plan to do a lot more. And I'm excited for some of the ones I have coming up because I'm gonna be using some palettes you guys haven't seen before. So stay tuned for that. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!